Hey, Sherry. Welcome to Crimepedia. I'm your host this week. My name is Morgan. I hope you are having a wonderful day. And with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host. She is my Sherlock to my Watson. It is the lovely Cherry. Hello, Cherry.
Oh my God, how cool would that be to be actual Sherlock Holmes in something? I would love to be the first female Sherlock. How exciting.
Well, Sherlock Holmes. But isn't there that, what's that?
Enola.
Enola,
Holmes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is brilliant. Henry Cavill is in
haven't
that
seen
as Sherlock. He makes Sherlock sexy. Yeah.
But you want to be Sherlock Holmes. You don't want to be
They do it, don't
the
they?
female vert.
No, that's right. They do like Doctor Who. They changed the Doctor Who's, didn't
Yeah.
they? And then Doctor Who was a woman. So I think they should do a Sherlock Holmes, and it should be a girl.
And it should be you.
I'd love that. Because I'm not that intelligent in real life, but I would love to pretend I'm that intelligent in a program.
You are very intelligent.
Not anywhere near Sherlock standard. No way. But I would love to dress up like Sherlock and do that. We should have like a fancy dress night so I can be Sherlock Holmes.
Let's do it.
We should. That would be brilliant. I'm going to do that for when we meet again. I'm going to come dressed as Sherlock.
Yes. That'd be amazing.
Who would you be? Who would you be if you had to dress up as like something in the true crime world or something in crime? So it could be fiction. Who would you dress as? I don't agree with dressing like serial killers. I don't like that idea. But like somebody good in the crime world, who would you go as?
That's a good question.
Think about it. Let me know later.
Yeah, I will.
Because it has to be somebody good. I don't agree with the whole
yeah.
dressing up like serial killer stuff because I don't think it's a good idea to glorify them at all, give them any airtime or space, whatever. I think, yeah, but people of positive in the crime world, that would be good. That would be great.
Yeah.
Talking of crime and real life crime, unfortunately, we have an update on the Nicola Bulley case this week. It's been all over our news. If you haven't heard about it and you're not from England, then a lady went missing 23 days ago, and there's been a huge hunt on to find her. Unfortunately, this afternoon, they have released in the media that a body has been found. It's not been identified yet as Nicola Bulley, but obviously people are speculating that it could be her. And unfortunately, a body has been found within that search. So we await further news at the moment.
Do we know where she was found or anything?
In the river. The body was found in the river about a mile from where Nicola was last seen. So if that's the case, the police have always had this theory that she was in the river and that she had entered the river. And they had sonar divers down there and people, all sorts of professionals down there looking in the water. I'm not sure if she's been, or the body has been found in an area that they searched. It's not clear just yet with what's in the news at the moment, but I'm sure everything will sort of become clear in the next few days. But unfortunately, that's the latest update that we have.
No need to speculate at this point.
Definitely not. No, definitely not. It doesn't help anybody.
Really sad case.
Really sad. It's not very nice. But yes, that's our news for this week of what's going on over here.
Anything else before we get started with our case?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any pressing news for anyone. So yeah, let's get going with the case.
All right, here we go. In 1994, a quiet suburban neighborhood was rocked by tragedy when a 14-year-old girl was found brutally murdered in her own home. Her family and friends were left reeling with shock and fear as they struggled to come to terms with the senseless crime. Despite intense efforts by law enforcement, the perpetrator has remained at large, and the case has gone unsolved. Even now, decades later, the memory of Jenny Lin lingers on, along with the hope that one day justice will be served. This is Crimepedia, and this is Who Killed Jenny Lin? All right, Cherry. Jennifer Jenny Hanchi Lin was an exceptional 14-year-old who seemingly had a very bright future ahead of her. Born on May 25th, 1980, in Castro Valley in Alameda County, California. Jenny was the daughter of John and Mei-Lian Lin, first-generation immigrants from Taiwan. Friends and family described Jenny as being a very popular and happy 8th grader who was very vibrant and easygoing. As a straight-A student, she excelled in academics as well as in dance and music. Jenny would serve as the principal chair in the school orchestra where she played the viola. Now, she had also been invited to join the Castro Valley Chamber Orchestra. She had plans to attend an academic talent development program where she was planning on studying marine biology. So, very, very bright girl. Very just sounds
really
like she
academic.
was just absolutely just
very
academic.
Yeah.
Had a lot going for her.
Definitely.
Being 14
talented.
And being invited to do being invited to join a chamber orchestra. Yeah, so had a lot going on for her.
Yeah, she did.
Now, the Lins lived in the Palomares Hills housing development, which was a new neighborhood at the time of Castro Valley and was considered extremely safe. Now, on Friday, May 27th, 1994, just 2 days after her 14th birthday, John would drop Jenny off at Kenyon Middle School. Jenny would return home after school and speak to a friend on the phone until 5:15 p.m. John would then arrive home at approximately 6:45 p.m. and was surprised when Jenny did not greet him as she normally would. John would notice that their back sliding glass door was open and the family dog was outside. He would begin looking around the house for Jenny and would discover the upstairs master bathroom door shut. He would open the door and find Jenny lying face down in a puddle of blood.
Oh, no.
After attempting to call his wife at work, John would call 911, who told him to begin performing CPR. He would quickly find that Jenny had no pulse.
Oh, that's so sad.
Now, police would arrive quickly on the scene and would begin their investigation. Investigators would begin to work off the notion that Jenny was possibly killed shortly after she ended the call with her friend at 5:15 p.m. She had been bound by duct tape and stabbed multiple times. Her clothes were partially removed, but there were no signs of sexual assault or struggle. Nothing appeared to have been missing from the house, so robbery was ruled out as a possible motive.
I don't know why they do that, though.
What do you mean?
Like, why rule out robbery straight away? What if the place was going to be robbed, but she was home and they were surprised by her? So it was an intentional robbery, but because obviously they were surprised by the kid being home, that thwarted the robbery. But because she's seen them, they've panicked and gone, right, we're going to have to kill you because now you're a witness and you know who we are. You can identify us. What if it was something like that? Maybe it was, and then they've just killed her. And then just gone. So they didn't have a chance to rob the house because it could be somebody that she knew because of that. That's why they've killed her, because obviously she could identify them. So I don't know why they rule out robbery straight away, because it could be a potential robbery.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I think in this case, it's just the fact that nothing had been taken from the home.
Nothing had gone. But
so the assumption is that it wasn't a robbery, because even if they were surprised that she was home and they killed her, the thought would be that maybe they would still like grab anything they could before they leave. But I think you're right. I think you're right where I don't think you can easily dismiss it just because there was nothing taken.
Because it could have been the reason they were there, to rob the place. And she was, she just happened to be there and they weren't expecting it. Right. Oh, that's awful.
Now, police would discover signs of forced entry. Now, it appeared as though that the perpetrator had at first attempted to force open a sliding glass door located on a second floor balcony, but was unsuccessful. So in the back of the house, there was a balcony, which I'm assuming goes into the master bedroom.
Yeah.
I know, looking at the pictures now, I know that there's there is a staircase that leads from that balcony down to like a little patio area in the backyard. I
Okay.
don't know if it was there in 1994, but it would make sense because looking at other houses in the neighborhood that have that same balcony,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like there would be an easy way for someone to get up onto that without having, say, a ladder or something like that.
Yeah. And you don't tend to carry stuff like that with you, do you?
No, 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 no. And especially in the case like this, you wouldn't be carrying it with you, and then you wouldn't be carrying it away. I mean, you would want to get
Exactly.
out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, of course.
Now, investigators would then find a broken window in the dining room that had been quickly concealed with a curtain, which was believed to have
Oh,
been used to gain entry into the house.
okay.
Now, multiple boot prints were discovered in and around the house, but other than that, there was very little in the way of evidence recovered. Now, police believe that that this perpetrator may have gained entry into the house prior to Jenny getting home and
Oh,
then
she's come
attacking after she's home.
home. Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily make sense to me because according to the timeline, Jenny would have got home sometime around 2:45 p.m. And then we know that she was on the phone with a friend until about 5:15.
But
So
they
that
could have
means that
already
if
been in
he
the
had
house.
but would but would he but he would have had to wait for what? Over 2 hours before attacking her?
Well, how do they
So
know
you
for
so
definite that
it
she was attacked that late?
well, because she was on the phone. We know that she was on the phone until 5:15, right?
Yeah. And then, so how do we know she
S
wasn't attacked straight after the phone call and bound up
Well, she
straight after the
would,
phone call?
but I'm saying that if the perpetrator had gained entry before she got home and made those phone
Yeah.
calls,
Yeah.
he would have been waiting for over 2 hours before he attacked her.
Right.
I have a feeling because she was found in the master bedroom, I just have this feeling that he tried to, try to get in through that sliding glass door on the second floor, and then when that didn't work, he decided just to go through the dining room window, and he broke it. I think that scared her, of course, right? And
Yeah.
she ran up to the bathroom and tried to hide in there.
Possibly. Because they do tell you that, don't they? Get yourself in the bathroom and lock the door.
Yeah,
So that would make sense.
because why else would she be in the bathroom? So the TV was on. It didn't seem like
And the master bedroom, I'm guessing, is not hers. So it would be the parents'
no, no,
bedroom.
no.
So
That's
why would
correct.
she be in? So why would she be in the parents' bathroom? You'd be in like the family bathroom usually. Like if you've got a
Something,
master
yeah.
bedroom, it's usually the people that sleep in the master bedroom that use that bathroom. Usually, like
Mhm.
everybody else uses the family bathroom, or they use their own toilets if they've got en suites. So I
Yeah.
wonder if you're right in that she ran upstairs and tried to hide in there and lock the door because it was the closest place she could get that was like safe.
Right. Right. Now, the other thing I found interesting is investigators have said that they believe that the perpetrator would have known the Lynn's schedule
Yeah, wouldn't
because
surprise me. Yeah.
it wouldn't. But this is what I started thinking about too. I think he got really lucky. So this happened on May 27th, which was the
Hmm.
Friday before Memorial Day weekend. So Memorial Day weekend
Right.
is huge here. It's most people have a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
They'll have Monday off. So a lot of people also either take Friday off or leave early Friday,
Yeah.
for to extend that long weekend.
Mm.
So if this is a person that knew their schedule, they didn't really take that into consideration. They didn't consider that maybe she wouldn't have been home by herself. So if she was the target of this attack,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have considered the possibility that either John or Malian had, would have taken a half day or had the day off because they wanted a
Yeah.
longer weekend. Not
Yeah.
only that is you have to take in consideration the neighborhood, right? So if this happened after 5:15 p.m., chances are people are going to be returning home from work sometime
Yeah. Of
thereafter. So the
course.
possibility of you being seen is a lot higher than doing it right at
Lunchtime or something.
2:45, three
Yeah.
o'clock, or doing it
Mm.
on a non Friday prior to a holiday weekend.
Yeah. So does that immediately seem like somebody who's average intelligence, somebody who's not Native American, somebody who's maybe not from the area because they wouldn't know that Memorial Day weekend was that weekend? Is it kids, or is it like, younger, somebody younger that
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have thought like that? Is she not the target and it was literally just a burglary and they've panicked?
See, this is what's crazy about this case to me, because on one hand, it looks like they didn't they weren't smart and when they did the attack, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, is they really didn't leave any evidence behind.
Except for
You have to
boot
be
prints.
very
So
lucky,
yeah, you do have to
except
be
for the
very
boot prints,
lucky.
right?
And that's probably more luck than
Yeah,
actual judgment. Because I mean, what would you do to conceal things like hair falling out? But then it depends on how the police, how well the police have gathered forensic evidence from the scene. That's the other thing. It depends on, maybe these people, the person that did it is bald. So they've got no hair that's going to fall out and leave at the scene. Maybe they were dressed in a worker's uniform. So they were, I don't know, had a white suit over the top of them to stop any forensic evidence from falling off. But that would be very, very conspicuous if somebody did see them like that. Would
hmm
you perhaps notice somebody in a gardener's uniform or in a janitor's uniform or something like that? Would you be as suspicious seeing somebody with buckets and stuff outside the house, or
that's
could
true.
could they be in some sort of uniform that's easily looked over? Is what I meant, kind of thing. Or is it a kid? Is it a younger person and they've just not even thought about it? Just thought, oh yeah, maybe obviously nobody saw them because we haven't got anyone that's come forward to say that they saw anything happening. So
I get a sense that at some point they did become frustrated trying to get into the house
right.
because they ended up just smashing a window.
So what's the area like? So it's a safe neighborhood. So it's not, obviously, as you said, it was a new area, a safe neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah, very safe neighborhood, beautiful, gorgeous area.
Yeah.
The Castro Valley has beautiful hills and surrounding it. I would consider it a upper middle class neighborhood.
And what's the garden
Very
area
beautiful homes.
like? So like, is the garden quite big behind
Um,
it? So could they
no,
easily
it's
be?
not
It's not
big.
overlooked. Is it overlooked by anybody?
No. So their house is very small. It's mostly like paved or bricked over, so there's not a lot of like greenery in
Okay.
their backyard, back garden. And then behind them is actually like an open field,
So no one's going to be able
which
to
leads to
see somebody in the garden, like at the back doors
right,
and so
right,
so they're not
exactly,
looked over. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
no, exactly. Now, police do believe that when the person left, that they did leave in a hurry, like
Right.
they were spooked by something. It's believed that they did leave out that backsliding glass door that leads out into the patio area in the back.
Yeah.
So the dog, like I said, that was open. The dog was outside
Yeah.
when John came home. It's believed that they would have then got into the field behind the house, and that's how they left. Which is
Oh,
interesting because if you look at
escaped.
the map of the area, there's not a whole lot of places he could have went from that open field area. It
Okay.
doesn't really. I mean, it leads really up into the hills.
See, that's what I was going to ask you. What about a vehicle? Are there any
No,
vehicles there
not the.
that? No.
Even if there was a vehicle, there wouldn't have been. So they would have, if they went out the back and went to the fields, they would have had to kind of went back into the neighborhood
Yeah, to get the
to, if they
car.
had a car parked. So it's not like they're gonna go and walk in the hills and then they have their car parked on some other street. There was really no other place for them to go. So there had to have been a car or some way for them to get away from the
Well,
area
unless it was somebody in the
there.
neighborhood and they just went home.
Yes. Yes.
That's the other thing, isn't it? So that's something to consider. That was it somebody actually in the neighborhood that didn't need to get away because actually
hmm
they were very close and they could just go home. They know how the houses work
Yeah.
because their house is probably built pretty similar. They're going to know the
hmm
layout because their houses are probably pretty similar layout if it's all built on the same
hmm
estate. They're not usually very different when it's all new houses built. So could it be that it's
hmm
somebody that actually didn't need to get away because they haven't got far to go?
So someone who doesn't need to get far away because they live in the neighborhood, very possible that if it was a person in the neighborhood, they would possibly know the Lins. They would,
know the schedule.
know their schedule.
Yeah, know that the daughter comes home on her own sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense compared to other possibilities.
Some random person.
Yeah.
So what are the neighbors like? What's the neighborhood like? What are the neighbors like?
There's not a whole lot known about the neighbors. I'm assuming, like I said, they're upper class.
Homeowners?
All homeowners. Yeah.
Right, so they all own their own houses. Okay.
Yes. What's very telling about the neighbors in the neighborhood, in October 1994, that was 4 months after the murders, a neighbor came forward claiming that they had heard glass breaking the day that Jenny was killed. Okay.
Oh, no.
They also say that later that same afternoon, that neighbor saw a man wearing a dark jacket and a hat in front of the Lynn's home. Okay.
Oh.
Now, while police were unsure why this witness did not immediately come forward, they did hear rumors that many residents in the neighborhood were afraid that the killer could return and retaliate against any informant.
Why would they say that? Like, that's a really weird thing to come out with, is that if they come and say anything, someone's going to come back and retaliate against them. What a weird thing to say. That's strange. What aren't they saying? Yeah, that's a very strange thing to say.
Now, this neighbor did tell other people in the area, in the neighborhood, about what they heard and saw, but no one went to the police with this information.
What? See, this makes me think that they're scared of someone, that there is actually a person that they're thinking about, but they're actually scared to say anything. Because usually you'd think, why would you think that person's going to come back and get you? Unless it's, unless you know of them. That's a bit of a strange thing to say, I think.
It is very strange.
Yeah.
And so that kind of makes me feel like what you said, like maybe this was a person in the neighborhood. Maybe that is the case.
Yeah. Maybe there's a neighbor
suspect. You're like, I think, that could have been this guy who we find very strange and odd. And
yeah, the guy in number 31 that always walks up and down looking at people or whatever. The reason I asked about the homeowner thing is because obviously there's a more of a turnaround if it's a rental property. It could be that somebody was living there before and then it's moved and new people have moved in. So that's why I was wondering whether it was a place where people owned their homes, because it's likelihood they stay a bit longer if they own their own home.
Yes.
So that's weird, isn't it? That's weird.
Yeah. It is very weird. It is very, very weird.
The poor Lyns, that's awful.
I mean, how would you feel if, like, you were them, you're the Lyns, right? And you have neighbors who have this information that they don't come forward with it until months later.
Very frustrating. You'd be really annoyed at them for not coming forward, wouldn't you? Because you'd be desperate for answers. I mean, your child's been killed in your own house. It's in your home where you're supposed to feel safe. And that's horrific. And people, I mean, that's what I don't understand. You could send an anonymous tip in. It doesn't have to be that you put your own name forward. I can understand that people are frightened and that they're worried about anything coming back on them. I get that. But there are ways to give information where you don't have to reveal who you are. There are ways to get that information to the police, I
mean, how does not giving police information keeping you safe? If there's a killer out there.
Well, unless the killer knows
right?
Yeah. That's it. So if the killer knows that it was them, and the only way that he's going to get investigators because of you. Yeah.
How would they know though? How would they know that it was you that gave the information?
Well, unless you saw them. That lady said she saw someone outside the front. Maybe she knows who it is, and maybe they know who she is. So she doesn't want to give the information because it'd be quite obvious where it came from.
Yeah. It's very possible. Yeah.
I feel like that episode of Friends where they're like, they know, but I know they know that I know that they know. It's just like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It
is.
It's frustrating for the Lyns though, because there is information there. Obviously, somebody knows more than what they're saying, and they're not saying anything because they're frightened.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Really sad. Really sad. Now, John would tell investigators about a strange encounter that he had with a man just 2 weeks prior to Jenny's death. On May 12th, John was approached by a man in the parking lot of the Bayfair BART station. That's the Bay Area Rapid Transit Station.
Uh-huh.
The man stated that he had a proposition for him and claimed that he had John's daughter.
What? He had John's daughter.
Yeah. John knew that Jenny was at a viola lesson at the time, so he ended up dismissing the man as being crazy and immediately drove off. Now, police
That's
do
weird.
not believe that man had anything to do with Jenny's murder, but they would still release a sketch of the man and sought to speak with him.
That's strange.
That is very strange. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a weird situation. And of course, I think you have to try to find that guy, right? Even if you don't think he had anything to do with him.
Yeah, you've got to just try and rule out everything. So yeah, I definitely want to speak to that guy.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Now, over a decade would pass with little to no developments in the case. Then on May 25th, 2006, 12 years after Jenny's murder, law enforcement would announce their first and only suspect in the case. During a press conference, the Alameda County Sheriff's Department would name Sebastian Alexander Shaw as their prime suspect in the case. Now born Chow Kwang Ho, Shaw was a serial killer who had been arrested and convicted in Oregon of multiple homicides committed between 1991 and 1992. Okay. On July 2nd, 1991, Shaw attacked a man named Jay Rickbell in his Oregon home with a knife, cutting his throat. A year later, on July 12th, 1992, Shaw would kill 29-year-old Todd Rudiger and his partner, 18-year-old Donna Ferguson, in their trailer home in Portland. Now, both victims had been bound and stabbed in the throat. Donna had her hands bound behind her back and had been sexually assaulted. So we know that Jenny had been bound with duct tape.
Yeah.
And had been stabbed. So these are both stabbings that occurred. So,
but also, you said before that her clothes had been moved, but she hadn't been assaulted. Is that because there wasn't time? Is that because the person had, been disturbed or thought they were being disturbed? And actually, that could have been something that might have happened to her. And it's a horrible thing to think. But looking at those others, if it was the same person, the only thing that's different is the sexual assault on the woman. So could it possibly be that was on the cards to happen, but for some reason he got spooked, or she got, whoever it is got spooked, and then, that's awful.
Now, the other thing about the Shaw is people have said that Shaw resembled the sketch of the man who approached John 2 weeks prior to Jenny's murder.
Yeah.
So you have that. So is it possible that Shaw was that man?
Yeah.
Is it possible that he then, murdered Jenny? Yeah, it's possible.
It is possible. You can't say no, it's definitely not.
Mm-hmm. Now listen to this. So in August 1994, right? So this is just months after Jenny was murdered. Shaw was arrested in San Ramon, California, which is about 20 minutes away from Castro Valley, after he was found asleep in a green Pontiac near a burglary scene. Now, this car had been reported stolen from Contra Costa County.
I love that name, Contra Costa County.
Inside the car, police would find a murder kit consisting of pornography, binoculars, handcuffs, a ski mask, gloves, duct tape, and a knife.
That's very like East Area Rapist kind of murder kit, isn't it?
Very.
He had one like that, didn't he?
He did.
Jeez.
Yeah, very much like that. Right.
How chilling to find something like that as an investigator or as anybody, to find a kit like that, to think, oh my God, what the hell has that person got planned? Thank God we found it and can get rid of it before they get the chance to get their hands on it. That would be a really frightening discovery, I think. That's horrible.
Very.
Yeah.
Now, Contra Costa County authorities did not want to press charges for the car theft, while San Ramon authorities decided not to pursue any burglary charges against him.
Right.
Shaw would be released from custody since he was not a suspect in any murder.
Not a suspect in any murder.
Yes. So since he was not a suspect, then they let him go, even though he had a murder kit with him. They're like, I mean, I understand. You can't do anything.
But he's obviously got something he's in possession of something with intent to wound or hurt, or, how do you explain all those things? I mean, it's different. You can explain a baseball bat in your boot with a baseball, because even if people are intended to use that for harm, if you've got a ball with it, then there's nothing the police can do about it. It's not a deadly weapon if there's a ball there, because you can say, well, I'm off to play baseball. But if you've got handcuffs and pornography and a balaclava and duct tape, I mean, what the hell is that? That's only going to be something nefarious. It's not going to be, unless he's going to a bondage party. What the hell? That's obviously something dodgy.
It is. But here's the thing. If they ask, like, hey, what is this? He could say, yeah, it's a murder kit. And they couldn't do anything about it if he didn't commit a murder with it. You know what I mean?
But why can't they do anything about it?
I mean,
that's showing intent
there.
Yes.
It's showing intent, but how? What are you going to charge him with?
Showing intent to cause grievous bodily harm.
To who? To anyone?
Whoever. Yeah, to anyone. Anyone could be a victim. There should be something that they could charge him. There should be some. If you're carrying like a concealed weapon, then you get done for carrying a concealed weapon without a license. If you're carrying a knife, a certain type of knife, you'd get done for it. You should definitely be done if you're carrying a bloody murder kit.
Yeah, but none of the stuff that he had is illegal to have, right? Is it shady as hell for him to have it? Yeah.
Yeah. But it should be all in one. One thing on its own, perhaps not, but all of it. I mean, who buys a bloody balaclava? Only people that are going to rob places. No normal person wears a balaclava. How many balaclavas? You're a man. How many balaclavas have you got in your life?
One.
In with your handcuffs and your duct tape in the boot of your car. No.
No, it's not
like, who buys? Who? I don't know anybody that owns a balaclava. Like, not even even people that go skiing. It's different. Nobody owns a black balaclava unless you're up to something no good.
I'm not up to anything bad.
Well, we don't know
cold.
That. Yeah, right. Cold and your hands were shaking, so you decided to handcuff them to something, duct tape yourself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's no way to explain all of those things one place
together. No, absolutely
together. That's not weird or strange or
right. No, you're absolutely right.
Messed up.
You're absolutely right.
But I understand what you're saying. You can't really. I know you can't then go and arrest somebody on the fact that they might kill someone. I suppose you can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird though. That's really weird.
Yeah, no, it's very weird. Now, Shaw would be arrested in Portland on February 20th, 1998. He would be charged with the murders of Todd Rudiger and Donna Ferguson, as well as an unrelated rape which occurred in 1995, where the victim had fought him for more than 20 minutes before escaping.
Oh, shit. This is the thing, though, see? So he did go on. And he did murder people. So it goes to show that all that stuff that was there, he was actually planning to hurt someone, and he did. Had they have arrested him...
What it was, yeah.
Yeah, had they have arrested him and got him off the streets, those two people might still be alive. The shade, it's just bad. That's really bad.
It is. No. Now, in February 2000, Shaw would plead guilty to the attacks on Ferguson and Rudiger and would be sentenced to 2 life terms for the murders.
Good.
He would also be sentenced for another 30 years for the 1995 rape, which would also be ruled an aggravated attempted murder. Now, he would plead guilty just before the trial started in order to avoid the death penalty.
Oh, they shouldn't let him do that.
Now, while in prison, Shaw claimed he killed 10 to 12 people, but did not give authorities enough detail to review the confessions. While in prison, his DNA would link him to the 1991 murder of J. Rick Bell, so he ended up getting nicked for that as well. Now, a year after announcing him as a suspect, Alameda County District Attorney's Office announced that they would not be pressing any charges against Shaw due to lack of evidence. They would reaffirm that Shaw was considered their only suspect and would continue to search for evidence that could lead to an arrest. Now, unfortunately, if he had, in fact, killed Jenny Lin, we will never get a confession from Sebastian Shaw. On October 4th, 2021, Shaw died in prison without ever being charged for Jenny's murder.
Ah, that's frustrating.
Very frustrating.
How did he die in prison?
I do not know.
Oh, so we don't know if it
I
was
wasn't able.
a
No, I
suicide
couldn't
or...
find anything.
Okay.
No. Now, in 2022, the reward for information leading to an arrest in Jenny's murder was doubled to $200,000. On June 17th, 2022, 28 years after her murder, authorities would state that they are using new DNA technology in Jenny's case and that the scientific advances could help them solve the case. All
This is
evidence had been
true.
re-examined. Yeah, absolutely. All evidence had been re-examined with new DNA technology, which allowed authorities to extract new cells and has given them some new leads, which they are, of course, holding close to the vest.
Yeah.
Now, with this announcement, authorities also revealed that their only named suspect, Sebastian Shaw, had been ruled out at some point over the years.
Really?
Yes. We don't know why.
But
We
he's
don't know
been
why,
ruled
but
out.
he's been ruled out. At some point, they ruled him out.
If that's the case, then that would be good because he's already dead. So it would be good that if the real perpetrator, if it isn't him and the real perpetrator is still out there, there is a chance that they're going to catch him and there's a chance that they're going to make him pay for what he's done, which is a bit of comfort for her family. And that the perpetrator didn't just die in prison and got no, comeuppance for what he did. So if that is the case and he really didn't do it, I really hope that they do find the person that did. I watched a documentary this week on the murder of Stephen Lawrence in England. If you don't know the case, Google it. It's one of the biggest cases. It ended up changing laws in England. It's a huge case. And that case, I think it was 13 years after the murder, the forensics were re-looked at again by some of the same team that actually investigated it in the first place. But because the DNA technologies were so much better 13 years later, they actually ended up finding fibers that they didn't find the first time round on the original investigations. They found a tiny little blood spot which contained a fiber. And that was one of the things that ended up proving that the people that killed him did actually kill him, because they got acquitted and it was dropped against the others. But in the end, it did actually overturn the acquittal. The double jeopardy law changed. They overturned the acquittal and ended up being able to prosecute 2 of the 5 people that were there at the time for his murder. So there are chances that, as time goes on, our DNA technology gets better and better. There are chances with cases like Jenny's that we might be able to do more to the samples that we have, which will hopefully give us more answers than perhaps we could have done, nearer the time of the actual case happening, the murder happening.
Yeah. I really hope that they do have enough DNA evidence.
I do too.
From what they collected, that they can find something.
Now it's before you needed so much more blood to be able to test. Now they can test on tiny little, and also the mitochondrial DNA. That's another way that they can test. They can't test the whole sample perhaps to get a full DNA profile, but they can extract the mitochondria from the blood, from the cells, to then be able to test that to get a parentage. Because I think a mother passes on mitochondrial DNA to her children, so you could then test that. You wouldn't get an exact pinpointed person, because so your mum would have passed it on her mitochondrial DNA to you, your brothers, your sisters. You'd all have the same. So you could actually pinpoint it to a particular family, but you couldn't pinpoint it to say one of the 5 of you. It would be one of the 5, but you don't know which one, singly. So it would be then about working out the alibis of those people, where they were and which one is most likely to have been able to commit that crime. So there are chances that even if they don't have a full DNA profile, that they could do a mitochondrial DNA profile, and that could help massively.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
I hope so. I really, really hope so.
So what do you think about this case? There are a few things which kind of lead me to believe that it could have been someone in the neighborhood. There's something that tells me that maybe this person was younger. I don't know. There's something that just points me towards a younger person.
Okay.
Maybe it's the fact that it doesn't feel like they didn't have patience in this, right?
Yeah.
So we know
Yeah.
that they tried that upstairs sliding glass door, and I'm sure they tried other windows, and then eventually they just, decide I'm just going to smash the window and get in.
Yeah.
So that's someone
That is a
who's
big,
determined.
yeah, somebody who's a bit desperate, because that is a big thing. Smashing a window is that's going to attract attention. It's a it's a loud
Hmm.
noise. You can't smash glass quietly. So that is quite a
Hmm.
loud noise, and it's a bit of a risk to take, because if there
Yeah,
is anyone in the house, they're going to hear that. Whereas you climbing through the window, they
exactly.
may not necessarily hear.
And then I'm kind of torn on the thought of when entry was made. Was it made before Jenny got home or after?
Uh,
Because if it was after Jenny got home, why would they take the time to conceal the broken window with the curtain by shutting the curtain?
yeah.
You would think that if Jenny was home and they were gonna attack, they would break the window, get through as quickly as possible, try to grab her as quickly as possible. They're not gonna take time to close the curtain to make sure that no one sees that it's broken. And at that point, why would you conceal a broken window?
Unless they did it after they already had her. I mean, I don't think they would break the window, get in and close the curtain quickly. I'm wondering whether, unless they
Mhm,
close the curtain, because the curtain's inside. So unless they close the curtain so that she didn't see the broken window.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever had
Which
anything
would
fall over in your house and you're not in the room that it fell over in, you're kind of like, shit, what was that noise? And then you kind of
yeah.
slowly, what you don't run towards the noise, you slowly go towards the noise just in case it is anything bad, so that you've got maximum chance to
Mhm,
run away. So if they do that and she's gone, oh my God, what's that noise? She goes in there because she's a child as well. So it's quite scary for her. If she's making her way, you like, hello, is anyone there? Hello, goes into the room, but the curtain's pulled across. She's not going to see the smashed window, so she's not going to be alarmed straight away. Which then gives them a little bit more of a chance to be able to grab her, because she's not. It's at the moment it's just a strange noise. If she sees the window, she's going to panic. So unless they've done it that way, she was already in the house. They've smashed the window, got in, pulled the curtain across, because they can hear her going, "Hello, any like who's that? Hello, mom, dad.
mhm.
Is that you?"
Yeah.
Because that was what I mean. If you hear a funny noise in the upstairs of your house, I come in. Hello, is anyone home? They know I've come in the front door. I do it every time I come in the front
Yeah.
door. If there's
Mhm.
nobody immediately there in front of you, shout, "Hi, are you home?" So it could be
Right.
that that's what's happened, and then they've
Mhm.
covered it over because they know it's the child come in. They know it's not an adult, and so they
Yes.
don't want to
Yeah,
alarm her, don't want to scream in, and then they grab her when she comes into the room because they know she's going to come into that room.
it's true. But this is what's crazy about this case, and the whoever the perpetrator was, there seems to be a lot of contradictions
Yeah.
to their actions, right?
Okay.
The thought that they broke the window, that kinda comes across as being desperate, right? They
Yeah.
need to get in
Yeah.
for whatever reason. They have to get in. So it seems like they don't have patience. But let's say that they broke in and broke that window prior to Jenny getting home. For them to then wait over 2 hours
Yeah. I
to
can't see that
attack her
happening. No, I don't see that
shows
happening.
patience. No, I don't
No,
either.
I don't see them waiting 2 hours to attack her. And I mean, even if they were breaking in to rob the place, they would have done that and gone by the time 2 hours. They're not going to spend 2 hours in a property just waiting,
Mhm.
unless they're waiting
No,
for her specifically. But I don't know. I don't see that.
no, I don't see it either because think about it, the longer you wait, the more variables come into play,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The
So if you
riskier it
break in the
is.
house when there's no one there, then okay, no one's gonna know that I'm here, okay? But the longer you wait, yeah, here's Jenny home. Jenny
Yeah.
had an older sister. Where was she at the
Mum,
time?
dad. Yeah.
Mom could come home, dad could come home, a friend
Yeah.
could come over. So there's so many more variables the longer you wait.
That's right.
I don't see this being a
Unless,
person that has the patience to do that.
no, I don't think so. I don't. I think. I mean, if they know the schedule, they know that there's time before the family get home, so there's no rush for
Mhm.
them to try and break into the house through a smashed window. If they know they've got
Right.
time and they know the schedule, they could get into the house and take their time to get in without causing any damage. Also,
Right.
smashing windows causes glass to be sharp, there's also a chance that you're going to leave DNA if you cut yourself.
Yes.
Most people do cut themselves on glass like that when there's a broken window pane or something. So that's also it's very frivolous to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, you're absolutely right.
I think she's.
But then,
I think they've broken in and not realized that she was home.
yeah. But then this is a person that has the patience to close the curtains, but they don't have the patience to shut.
I don't think it's patience is the reason why they've closed. No, I don't think it's patience that they've closed the curtain. I think they've closed the curtain to stop her from panicking, so that when she comes up in the room, she doesn't immediately see that they've broken in.
Yeah.
I think they've covered their tracks slightly behind them, so that it's not an immediate threat to her. So she's off guard.
I would love to see like the layout of the house and how
I was going to say that to you. Yeah, I would like to see how, because it might be then explainable how if she had ran, why she would run straight to the master bedroom bathroom and not a different bathroom or a different room. It's understandable that maybe bedrooms don't have locks on them. We don't have locks on our bedroom doors here, but the bathrooms have got locks on them. So that would make sense to get yourself as far away from the danger as you can, and to try and stop them from getting anywhere near you. It would be to get in the bathroom and lock the door. I can see that would be the only place she might feel safe. It's no good going and hiding under your bed, is there?
Yeah. And, I think people would say, well, why would you run upstairs? Well, you have that balcony and possibly those stairs. So maybe she was trying to get out that way. She's trying to get up to the balcony to get out that way for whatever reason. Once again, I don't know the layout of the house. So maybe it was not possible for her to get out the front door or the back door. So she thought, okay, I'm just going to go upstairs, go through the master bathroom into the master bedroom, out the balcony.
Or there's more than one perpetrator, and that was her only way that she could run.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say that. I mean, you said that there was lots of boot prints on the floor, but no DNA. So it's possible that it could be more than one. It could be more than one person.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
I hate cases like this. It's very frustrating, and I think that poor girl and the other people that were killed, and it's. I think you wouldn't want to think about it, but I think as a parent, you would think about their last moments and how frightened they must have been, and how somebody can take your child away like this. I mean, what gives them the right to just take your child away? There's nothing. There's no reason why somebody should think they have the right to do that to another person. And it's frustrating to think that there's so much left to discover on this case. And it's been such a long time since it happened. And it must be torturous for their family, because that's their home. I mean, imagine having to go back to that house, to go back to live in your home where your child was taken from you and taken in such a horrific way. It's just awful.
Now her parents refused to leave the house. They weren't going to be tormented by this person, but they decided they were going to stay. Now they left Jenny's room exactly as it was. So they never touched it.
It's awful.
After her murder, her family did create the Jenny Lin Foundation, which is a charitable organization with its mission being to promote child safety as well as youth music education.
That's really nice.
It is really, really nice.
That's
the foundation
really nice.
Sponsors many music and safety events which benefit the East Bay communities, including free youth music camps and concerts, scholarship for young musicians, safety awareness, education, and more. So
that's really lovely.
Some good has come out of it.
Yeah, in her memory that they've released something that she was so passionate about. That's really good.
No, absolutely. Now, if you have any information regarding Jenny's case, including information about the man that had threatened John outside of the BART station, you're asked to contact Alameda County Sheriff's Department at 510-667-7721, or you can contact the Jenny Lin Foundation's tip line at 1-855-4-JENNY-LIN.
That's just, horrible. But if people have I think that, when people have information on a case digitally, they are going to look on the internet. They're going to look up to see who's talked about it, if there's any podcasts about it. You'd want to know, keep abreast of what's happening. And I think with technology, the way things are today, you can look on mobile phones, you can look on, the internet quite easily from a number of devices. And I would think that whoever is involved in this or has information in this that's possibly scared will be looking up things like this. So if that's the case and somebody has come across a podcast with her name featuring in it, do the right thing, even if it means going to an internet cafe, setting up a anonymous email address and emailing the police everything everything that can help them. And you don't even have to give them your name. As long as you can give them the information that they can work on, you've done your bit, You've helped. You can't keep quiet about stuff like this. You've got to come forward. You owe that to that poor girl, that innocent victim, innocent child who did nothing wrong. It's completely ridiculous. And so if people do have information, there's no reason why they shouldn't come forward.
Cases like this really get to me because she would be our age now. And the thought that she didn't get to live her life and have the life that she deserved is very, very sad to me. She could have done amazing things. And I know she did do amazing things in her 14 years, right?
Yeah.
But the thought that she
didn't have a life.
Yeah. It was taken from her.
Exactly. And it wasn't through no fault of her own. This is not like an accident where something accidentally has happened, which is sad. Not anyone's fault. It's an accident. When it's somebody has maliciously decided to take a person's life in such a horrific way, that's just, it's unfair and it's cruel. And it's, it's never right.
It's not. I have a feeling that whoever does their days are numbered. If they have been out there living free for the past 28 years, I think those days are going to be, those days of being free are going to be very short.
Yeah.
I think this case is going to be solved in relatively quick fashion, especially with the new DNA technology that they're using, reviewing everything.
It's just a matter of time. Matter of time, isn't it? And if that's something that you've done and you've done, then you're living with a sort of a clock on your shoulder, aren't you? Because time's just ticking until you're going to get found out. So you may as well just give yourself up.
Yeah. Yeah. Hug your wife, kiss your wife, say goodnight to the kids.
Yeah, go and hand yourself in.
They're never gonna look at you the same way when you're caught.
No,
you're a monster.
Yeah. Horrific.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was a very interesting case, and I really hope that we'll be able to bring an update in the not too distant future about that.
Me too.
And the fact that they've caught Jenny's killer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to lighten the mood slightly, and I'm going to give you this week's dumb criminal.
Hey, dum-dum head, you's a real jackass.
Okay, this week's stupid criminal is somebody who is robbing a place in Hickory, North Carolina. So the thief invaded Captain's Galley restaurant, picked up the cash register off of the side, but didn't notice that the cash register's till, the tape that you get receipt from, was hanging out the back of the machine. So as this guy left, the tape is unraveled, like as the person's leaving, like a toilet roll. It's just like completely unraveled. And all the police had to do was go from the Captain's Galley restaurant, follow the tape all the way to this guy's apartment, where they found him trying to open the till.
No. So he was that close.
Yeah. And they just followed the paper, the till receipt, all the way to his apartment, got in the apartment, and he's there trying to crack it open to try to get the money out of it.
No, that's like a cartoon.
It is. It literally led the police to him with the tape, with the till register, till machine.
Could you imagine him like, how'd you find me? How are you finding me so quick?
That's exactly what he said. How did you find me? That's exactly what he said to the police officers when they got there. How did you find me? And they were like, well, duh.
Like,
He
look,
left us
you
like a
see
little,
this?
yeah, he left us a little trail. We just followed it.
Yeah, he's like his own little breadcrumbs. Like, here I
It
am.
was. Yeah, come find me. One idiot. Can you imagine, though, when they're sitting in prison and they're talking about how did you get caught? What happened? What was your crime? I stole a till from a restaurant. And the police
How do you
just
not
followed the
notice
till
it?
receipt all the way to
How do you
my
not notice
house.
it?
I know.
How do you not notice
Ridiculous.
that?
Surely.
No.
Surely. It's just crazy. So yeah, that is this week's.
Oh.
They didn't give his name, sadly, but if you know somebody that
Oh.
robbed the Captain's Galley restaurant in Hickory, North Carolina, the guy's a dumbass.
That is so dumb. No.
I like this one. It made me laugh. I thought it was brilliant. So yeah, that is this week's dumb criminal.
There's so many things he could have done and maybe had some more time before he got caught, but
I know.
No.
Yeah. It's so crazy, isn't it?
So bad. So bad.
So yeah, that's this
Thank you for
week's
that.
Dumb Criminal. You're welcome. So we will be back next week with another episode for you. It'll be my episode next week. So between now and then, be nice.
And bye.